any coach safe anymore who's not regularly making the playoffs and making a championship run? I mean, the years of winning 8 games, 7 games, 8 games, going to bowl games, but not making the playoffs, is that going to put every coach in jeopardy? Fan base with their administration?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, similar to the NFL in that regard. I would think so. I mean, again, I'm very fortunate here because I've been the head coach 17 years. Not 2 years, not 4 years. I mean, we've got a long track record, but that doesn't mean. That doesn't mean. They can get rid of me tomorrow. I mean, that's just part of it. You got to win, and you got to. You got to win your fair share. I think, but I do think it's unrealistic to. If you fire your coach every year because they don't make the playoff, there's 136 teams, I think, or 135 for 12 spots or whatever. I mean, it's hard. There's 17 teams playing for one championship in this league. We've won it 8 out of 10 years. We're not going to win it this year, but we've won it 9 times. We've had a lot of opportunity, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of great coaches that have won a bunch of games that are losing jobs. That are really, really good coaches. Maybe because they haven't won a championship, but how many people have won championships? It's hard. I mean, there's not many coaches that have won championships. There's not many. So if you're going to just fire your coach every year they don't make a championship or be one of the 12 out of 136, you're going to have a lot of turnover, and it's going to be hard to have a program. But that's decisions that coaches don't make. Those are decisions that administrators make. And but to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I would say that's just the way of the world. Depends on who the leaders are. Depends on what they're made of. Who's making those decisions. How much they really believe in the people that they've hired and et cetera. Because it's a process, and football's hard. I mean, it is. I mean, it's just a very fine line. It's a few plays. It's a ball bouncing one way or another. It's momentum. It's confidence. It's belief. It's injuries. I mean, it's maybe good play at certain spots versus maybe not playing as well. There's a lot of things that go into it, and I think you can make some quick judgments and set yourself back. So some people will be patient, and some people won't. I mean, I look at Tony Elliott right now. They've had 3 losing seasons in a row, and man, I look at them now. But they've hung in there, and they've stayed the course. And there's a process to it. But again, I don't know how many people will be patient with the process. So, yeah, probably so.
Do you think people around here are patient?
Absolutely. I mean, Frank Howard was here. How long was Frank Howard here? 30. I think Ross told me he had, 11 seasons where he started out 1-3 or worse. I'd say they were pretty patient. I probably won't get 11. I probably wouldn't get 3. But, absolutely. Clemson people are very loyal, committed people, very, very patient. Certainly, they were patient with me. I mean, we won 9 my first year and went to the championship, but we won 6 my second year. 6. We lost 5 in a row to the Gamecocks, and they were patient with me. So absolutely, I mean, they've been very, very patient. Hasn't always been perfect here. We didn't win. We won the championship in 11. We didn't win it. We won it again in 15. So Clemson people are incredibly patient.
So you wouldn't worry about another off year next year where you
I don't worry about anything, man. I give everything to the good Lord. I don't spend my time worrying about things that I don't control. I just do my best every day. So I don't wake up and worry. The good Lord is orders my steps, and what He has for me, He has for me. Always has been. So I don't. When I got fired at Alabama, I mean, I knew God had a plan then, and that ain't nothing changed. So I don't worry about things I don't control. I just do my best every day. I do my best. I try to live my life in a way that, hopefully I can serve other people, help people. I love what I do. I love coaching. I love teaching. But I don't sit around and worry about stuff that I have no control over. I just do my best each and every day.
when you refer to people who are talking about you getting fired, are you talking about like the national?
Yeah, just random people. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there, but I mean, that's just the way of the world, right? For everybody, every coach, not just me. That's every coach out there.
I think part of it's the misconception, maybe that you just turn everything over to the transfer portal really quickly, and so get rid of a coach, bring in a new coach.
I don't know. I mean, I'd say just society. We have a world now that just is loud. It's really loud if you listen to it, but I don't participate in that.
I'm not quite sure what's happening with Will's mic right now, but hello, everybody. Welcome to Believe in Clemson Football. It says that Will has to unmute himself. I can't do it for him. They've taken my producer abilities away from me.
There you are. Sorry, Alex. I don't know what happened, dude. Oh, my gosh. Live podcasting at its finest.
Well, they keep adding all these bells and whistles to the software that's supposed to make it better. I think it just makes it harder.
It does, man. I tell you, apologize for that. Welcome to Believe in Clemson Football, presented by FanDuel. I'm Will Vandervort. That's Alex Dodd, who does a great job producing, by the way. I don't know what happened. It wasn't on Alex, but I was muted and I couldn't talk, and sorry about that. And you gotta love technology. Sometimes it's supposed to help us, but it makes things worse. But that was Dabo Swinney, by the way, as he talked about the state of college football, and he also talked about Clemson fans and how patient Clemson has been to him through the years, and talked about the transfer portal there at the end, and this, how people, he doesn't worry about people getting upset and doesn't control. He says it's a loud society. A lot of things Dabo talked about there, Alex, but the primary message was the kind of like, he's not going to worry about how things are going on around him. He's got to focus on what he's doing here at Clemson. And I like that message in the sense that, he doesn't let outside noise affect how he's going to make decisions. And that's the way it should be. You shouldn't want your head coach to totally be listening to what fans are saying, because ask Penn State and those guys, they're going to have a hard time finding a head coach because they're listening more to the fans than they are actually what the coach is trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, ask LSU. I mean, the fans told Brian Kelly to go get this big portal class, and he did, and it didn't work out, and he got fired for it. I mean, ultimately, there's a lot of other reasons that Brian Kelly got fired. There's high expectations of that program. But at the end of the day, one of the core reasons is fans want him to do something. He did it, and it didn't work.
Yeah, and kind of with that said, this is kind of what, Dabo was kind of talking about, was asked it about, like, no longer are the days you can go 8-4, 9-3, and you get fired for being a head coach now, which is kind of ridiculous because it's a different world we're living in now in college football with the transfer portal, with the NIL. How basically you got free agency going on everywhere, and in the NFL, Alex, if you go 12-4, you've had a great season. Yeah. And you generally are in the running for a conference championship game or the top seed in the conference, and you're playing for a Super Bowl. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. But like Dabo mentioned there, this is completely different college football. You have 130 some odd teams that are vying for 12 spots. So, you're not going to make the playoff every year.
But if you're 9-3, you have a shot.
Right. Exactly.
South Carolina proved that last year.
Yeah, that's the thing too. And the other part of it is the guys that are getting fired right now, like James Franklin, for example, he's not getting fired because he's having one bad year. He's getting fired because he's had expectations every year he's been at Penn State, and he hasn't won the big one.
I understand that part. I do.
That's what I'm saying. It's because he hasn't won the big one.
He's 11. He averaged 11 wins per season. Brian Kelly was the second winningest coach in college football, active coach in college football. Brian Kelly won 71% of his games at LSU. Do you know how many people win 70% of their games in the NFL?
One or two teams a year.
How about zero? How about zero? Okay. Like, 0 coaches have won 70% of their career games in the NFL. Mike Tomlin, one of the best, right? Mike Tomlin's win percentage is like 63%, 64%. It doesn't happen. Now, it's a different era now. This is not your dad. This is not even mine and your college football anymore,
Right.
okay? This is a different era of college football. And I get it. What's happening is you're going to the big donors and you're saying, I need X million dollars so I can get this player, this player, this player. Well, when you do that, it's not the expectations of the fan base, of the overall fan base. It's the expectation of what you just set for those boosters and their investment. And what is their return on investment? And when they don't get their return on investment, they want to fire people. That's a mistake, though.
These are business people.
I understand that. But that's a mistake because if you keep doing that, like, are you want to go to coach at Penn State if you win 11 games a year and you get fired? Are you want to go to coach at LSU if you win in 75% of your games and you're going to get fired? No. No coach is going to sign up for that.
Unless I'm going to get $50 or $60 million for getting fired.
Well, yes,
that's
there's
a different
that
story.
But then let me throw that at you. But let me throw that at you, and we're going to get to our sponsors here in a second. Let me throw this at you. You just mentioned that. Okay, Alex, you get a $50 million buyout. Like LSU is going to pay $800,000 a year to Brian Kelly to start off with. I don't know how. That's how it's going to start off with. All right, so that's $800,000 a year. Alex, guess what you could use that $800,000 for?
For your next roster.
Exactly. So
that's a wide receiver or a running back or an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle,
that's
DB. That's what you're losing.
And you're already paying $20 million a year. You're already paying $20 million a year. Now you're going to add more money to the pot. And if you're LSU, you're already paying off another coach. If you're Florida State, you're already paying off Willie Taggart. If you're Texas A&M, you're still paying Jimbo Fisher. They got to stop because they're going to run out of money. And so, I'm interested to see how these schools like Penn State, LSU, these schools, Florida, how are they going to be able to compete for the top level recruits
when
they're having to give their money to their former head coaches?
We already know the answer, Will. They've been floating this at us for 3 years. The answer is they're going to go to private equity. I mean, Michael Lombardi at North Carolina took a trip to Saudi Arabia, allegedly, to fundraise for his football roster. That's what's going to happen with these schools. That's what they're going to have to do because they're going to be floating too much cash. And if you think college football is bad now because the donor class is controlling things, just wait until private equity gets involved. See how quick they fire coaches then.
Oh, my goodness. It's Alex, that's not good for college football, buddy. But you know what is good for college football? The Clemson Insider. The Clemson Insider is good for college football. For the most complete coverage of Clemson athletics and recruiting, go on over to the ClemsonInsider.com. Check out all the recruiting stories by Jason Priester. Check out my stories, Ashby Mixon's stories. You can find them all there at the Clemson Insider. We got Clemson football, Clemson men's basketball, Clemson women's basketball. We got everything you want to know about recruiting. We got commitments, we got guys committing, we got guys decommitting. We got it all over the place. It's crazy right now. And of course, next month, things are going to be really crazy, probably with what's going to probably go on with the coaching staff and what's going to go on with the transfer portal and the whole thing when the football season's over, as Dabo Swinney said, in 33 days. So go on to the ClemsonInsider.com. Check it out for the most complete coverage of Clemson athletics and recruiting. You can find the Clemson Insider also on Facebook at Clemson Insider. You're watching us right now, probably, if you're over there. You can go on Twitter at Clemson Insider. You're watching us over there now, X, formerly known as Twitter. And you can watch us also on YouTube on the Clemson Insider, which you're probably watching us right now. And we appreciate you guys watching us. Please leave comments. Me and Alex will get to those as we're going along on the podcast today. But so go over to the ClemsonInsider.com. Check that out today. Also, want to say a big thanks to our sponsor, Alex, talking about food. I know you're trying to eat, as you always do during the show.
Well, I waited today. I ate a later lunch so that I would be prepared and not shoveling in some Taco Bell or something at the midnight hour.
Well, I was shoveling in some Chinese food just a second ago. So I was kind of eating real fast. And so, but if you want to eat normal and have a sit-down meal, pretty soon you're going to be able to go to the all-new Smoke on the Water, which will be located at 64 Beacon Drive on Restaurant Row off of Pelham Road in Greenville, South Carolina. Smoke on the Water will open in its new location probably sometime in the next couple weeks. All right, so keep an eye out for it. We're going to let you know as soon as we know what that date's going to be. The all-new Smoke on the Water will feature the same famous smoked meats it had before: pulled pork, brisket, beer butt chicken, and prime rib. Plus, man, what's wrong with me? A few new things will appear on the menu as well.
There's no pus on the menu.
No, there's not. No, there's not. Also, its signature 5 barbecue sauces will be there to complement, not smother, any of its smoked meats. So like before, the all-new Smoke on the Water will have Greenville's best happy hour, and it will feature live acoustic acts as well. Smoke on the Water, owned by Mike Schuler, was a staple in downtown Greenville for 18 years before being forced out of the previous location by its new landlords there. Right now, the all-new Smoke on the Water is available for catering and has its food truck. For more information, call 864-232-9091. The all-new Smoke on the Water will be located on 64 Beacon Drive. That's just off of Restaurant Row, off Pelham Road. Again, that's 864-232-9091 for more information. Again, 232-9091.
And in the words of Will Vandervort, that's the all-new Smoke on the Water where you can eat normal.
Yes. And not eat like me and you do. We're shoving food in our face. You can actually sit down at the table and eat. Alex, so let's kind of talk a little bit about what Coach Swinney was talking about there. We kind of got into it, and I didn't want to go too far down the rabbit hole before we talk to our sponsors, but, college football is changing, dude, every day.
Yep.
And right now it's getting ridiculous. I think I might have been talking to you on Saturday night. I can't remember, but when LSU's losing that game, I'm like, Brian Kelly's getting fired tomorrow. That's how confident I was he's getting fired.
Yep.
That's crazy that we're in a world now where we can pretty much predict when a coach is getting fired. Somebody else will get fired this week. Who's it going to be? It's like, I mean, seriously, who's it going to be? There's somebody. I think, what have we already had right now? How many coaching firings have we had so far this season? You had Virginia Tech started it all.
Yep.
Right. Then we got Penn State.
Yep.
Florida and LSU. That's the last 3 weeks. It's been Penn State, Florida, LSU. There's somebody else besides Virginia Tech that happened early in the season. Who am I missing? Somebody in the comments. You guys get it into us. We appreciate it. So interesting stuff, but also if you got some comments about this topic, also we're going to give you a rundown about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. We're going to talk about what Gary Riley said about the Clemson line. We're going to talk about the comments made today, or the story that was released yesterday, and more came out today about it. Clemson-South Carolina possibly moving that game to Black Friday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to preview the Clemson-Duke game. We got some comments from Coach Swinney on that as well. And then we'll finish it out with our pick 6, where, Alex, did you make a move on me this week? Did you
no, I had an atrocious week. I know you're saying that because you already know the answer. We laid out several scenarios, and one of the scenarios that we laid out happened, and it wasn't good for me. Let's just put it that way. I'm watching these games. I'm sitting here during the Texas-Mississippi State game, and I'm like, oh, boy, this is good. My week's going pretty good. And then I was like, wait, what about those other games I watched earlier? Those didn't go so good for me.
I know I lost the South Carolina game, right? Because I think because I remember I picked the Gamecocks to cover that spread, and I hate that South Carolina made me feel bad in a sense where South Carolina lost. Yeah. Because normally I feel happy about it, but I thought they had Alabama got the fumble. They're going to kick the field goal, Alex. Everything's great. And then Shane Beamer told his defense to let him score.
Yeah.
Why didn't the guy just go down, Alex? Why didn't
I don't know. He could have. That's one of those, bad beats at the end of a game that we talk about a lot. But
it was a very bad beat. Everybody in the restaurant that we were at.
Scott Kelly gets in here, the other coach we missed, UCLA.
That's right. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you, buddy. So let's get back to that subject, though. Al. It's just how ridiculous are we getting with college football right now? We're firing coaches that are winning 75% of their games.
Yeah,
just because they're having one season where things aren't going well.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it. But with all of these guys, you can look and see other reasons why were getting fired anyway. I think this has just sped up the process. Like, normally maybe they would have waited till the end of the season to get rid of Brian Kelly, see how things are going to go. And like you mentioned, a lot can happen in this
They're
playoff
only
era.
5-3. What if they won
Yep.
their last 4 games?
Yep. So, I mean, like you mentioned, a lot can change. But with this donor class rule in college football, and you're investing this much money, though, we talk about you expect return on investment. At a certain point, if you think, hey, maybe I don't like this guy, maybe this isn't the guy that I think is going to be able to get the big one for us. At a certain point, you say, maybe we don't give him the chance to get there. Like, maybe we don't get him a chance to be back next year and break our hearts again in December. That's what I think is happening with some of these guys. I mean, that's what happened with Brian Kelly. In my mind, is the donors down there, they already weren't very happy with him coming into the year. They hadn't had the start that they thought they could have. Brian Kelly told you all offseason that this is the best team he's had, and this is going to be the best LSU team he's had, and they got a chance to win the national title. And they go out and lay an egg for a few weeks, lay an egg for a month. And the mindset seems to shift to where it's like, well, maybe we don't want to give him the chance to make a playoff and backdoor his way into another season. Maybe we want to go ahead and make a move now and see if we can do something with another guy. But the other thing too is you have these alluring jobs that are out there right now: Penn State, LSU, and Florida. I mean, even UCLA in this transfer portal NIL era can be an alluring stop on the college football roadmap. And you start to think, it's like, how many more teams are going to get rid of their coach? Because if you do, it's like, who are you going to hire? You're going to get the 5th or 6th best guy. So I think that calculus is going to come into play down the stretch too.
Is it alluring though? I mean, is it? I mean, are we? I mean, do you want? I mentioned earlier. Do you want to go to these schools where they're firing their coaches for one bad season? I mean, Brian Kelly was, let's see, 11-3, 10-3, 9-4.
Yeah.
Prior to his 5-3 start now. Now, granted, they started this season number 4 in the country, or they beat number 4 Clemson, moved into the top 4. A month ago, they were ranked in the top 5. I understand that, but I mean, come on, you got to let a guy finish out the season. In my opinion, what if they go to Alabama this week and beat Alabama?
Right.
And they go on a run and they finish the season 9-3. Guess who's going to make the college football playoff?
Yeah, exactly.
LSU will.
You're spot on, but I think there is some merit to kind of what I'm saying here. And a similar situation with Billy Napier. He gets fired before that, Georgia game.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes and beats Georgia, then he could have kept his job. So part of it too is, do we really want to be stuck with this guy for another year? If you think you got the money, you think you can pony up. But then again, what are these donors going to be saying when the next head coach comes to him and says, hey, I need, $15 million for a roster? Are you going to be able to say yes, making those big payments on the buyout? So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out next year.
It is going to be. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen here at Clemson. Now, Clemson hasn't done the big donor investment yet. And Dabo Swinney, obviously, as I said in my column yesterday, deserves the right to fix things. But right now, Clemson's not having the season nobody expected either because everybody was coming back. Clemson invested their money from a retention standpoint.
Right.
And they did go to some big donors and get the money to pay Kate Klubnik, to pay TJ Parker, who, by the way, got married over the weekend. Congratulations to TJ Parker.
Maybe now that the premarital stress is off of him, he can
maybe that was it.
Get to make it some time. Maybe he's just stressed planning for a wedding.
And TJ Parker, I gotta ask you, dude, you play football. Why you get married in football season? I know it's during the open week, but why we get married in the football season?
We could have done this in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, all joking aside, congratulations to TJ Parker.
Yes, congratulations. All joking aside, congratulations. We're proud of him. Tying the knot's a big deal, and you deserve the congratulations. And Alex was able to find a woman that loved him. I don't have any woman that loves me, so
Oh,
I'm
there's somebody out there for you, Will. I know there's somebody out there.
so anyway,
Well, if you're listening, somebody that wants to love Will.
It's got to be a female, by the way.
Yes. I thought that went without saying, but here we are.
In this day and age, you can't say that without saying. You got to make sure you say it. Anyway, all right, Alex. Let's move. Let's get a move on here. We talked about Dabo. I want to talk about what else came out in the news yesterday. Clemson, South Carolina news came out. Chapel Fowler of the state newspaper wrote a story where they were able to get a hold of the contract through Freedom of Information Act for the Clemson-South Carolina system, which, by the way, renews every 2 years. And South Carolina put an option in the contract or a clause that gives them the option in 2027 to possibly move the Clemson-South Carolina game, and Clemson signed off on it, to Black Friday. And I really don't know how I feel about that. First of all, it's in Columbia, so it doesn't affect Clemson in the standpoint of Clemson's fans and things of that nature that much. Other than the fact if Clemson students wanted to go to the game in Columbia in 2027, it's going to be really hard for them now. Yeah. Because if it's played on that Friday, they're not going to be able to get back in time to go to the game. But it is in Columbia, so it's more Carolina's problem than it is Clemson's. Yeah. And I'm interested how that will affect. We'll start off there. How is that going to affect the Carolina students? I know Carolina's centrally located. I know it's the biggest university state of South Carolina. It's easy to get to and all that stuff. It's only 2 hours away. It's not like Clemson. But they still have students from out of state. Yeah. And that's gotta affect how those students are going to want to go home on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. But I agree with you. I'm like, it's South Carolina's problem. Clemson has very solid reasons why, and Dabo Swinney laid them out today again, why they don't want to move the game from Saturday to Friday when it's played in Clemson. Mm-hmm. It's because it affects the entire economy of Clemson. It's a small town. There aren't people going out and eating in all these businesses on a Friday normally anyway. So it'd be a lot harder for people to get there. The students aren't going to be there. You lose a lot of economy if you're Clemson. If you're Columbia, people are already doing those things on Black Friday. So from that standpoint, it doesn't hurt Columbia. But yeah, the student body is the one that's going to suffer. The fans are going to be the ones who are going to suffer. I mean, a lot of fans have family that live out of the state or across the state that they drive on Thanksgiving to spend time with. And those South Carolina fans, a lot of them are going to have to make some tough decisions when it comes to Thanksgiving in 2027. But again, you kind of mentioned this in the summer when we had this conversation that this was probably coming from the South Carolina side.
Yes, and not surprised at all that it's here, and it will happen. They will play that game. That's why else do you put that in there if you're not going to do it? I mean, they're going to do it. The only way they don't do it is if ESPN doesn't want them. Right. I mean, that's really what it is.
Yeah. Brent Black gets in here with the way they're both playing. You'll get a Black Friday deal on tickets.
That's true. I bet you 10-1 if you want to go to the Clemson-Carolina game this year in Columbia, the tickets are probably going to be very affordable. Yeah. I see right now South Carolina possibly going into that game with only 4 wins. Unless they do some miracle in the next 2 weeks and upset 2 top 4 teams, which I just don't see happening. And then the possibility of Clemson coming in maybe with 6 wins, maybe with 5. I think the Duke game will pretty much give us an idea where Clemson's going to be. Yep. We're going to talk about that later in a few minutes with the Blue Devils. But, yeah, Alex, my next thing about this, though, and you mentioned the Clemson community, but I want to throw this idea out there because if Clemson and South Carolina are so hell-bent and the stupid people that call the thing the Palmetto Bowl, which, as you know, aggravates the tar out of me, and I hate hearing it. I cringed today, and Elle with Fox Carolina, she doesn't know. She's not from the state of South Carolina, doesn't understand that people from the state of South Carolina just irk when they hear the Palmetto game, the game called the Palmetto Bowl. Yeah. So since everybody wants to promote the Palmetto Bowl and wants to call it that stupid name, why don't we do something like think outside the box? And let's bring back Big Thursday so we could get rid of the stupid Palmetto Bowl name and we call it Big Thursday. Let's move this game back to October, the third week in October. Now, hear me out. You play both games back and forth. You go home and home still.
Right.
You don't get to keep it just in Columbia. I'm not
We're
saying
not playing it at the fairgrounds.
We're not playing it. Well, you're going to play it at the fairgrounds, but you're not playing it every year at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
You're going to play that 3rd October in during the
Third
football
Thursday
season.
in October. Yep.
3rd Thursday in October. You're going to do it every year. 1 year at Clemson, 1 year in Columbia. You do it during the state fair at Columbia because it's nostalgic. It looks, you go back and you have all those great whatever history lessons we've all heard, right? But you did. Now, hear me out on this. This is why I bring this up. Because on Thursday night in the middle of October, Alex, what is playing on a Thursday night in college football?
Nothing.
Exactly. Maybe a MAC game.
Yeah, you got some action, maybe some Conference USA.
Nobody besides our good friend Bart Boatwright watches.
Yeah,
and the people that graduated at MAC schools. That's it. That's all who's watching.
right.
Because everybody else is watching the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Including myself, including you, watching the NFL. However, if you put a big-time college football rivalry on that 3rd October, like Clemson-South Carolina, every college football fan in America is going to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
you're
in the
going to
South-
do numbers. You're going to do numbers.
You're going to get numbers. Everybody in the South's going to watch it. Everybody in the Midwest is going to watch it, which is your 2 biggest college football markets.
Yep.
They're going to watch it because it's college football and it's big-time college football. And they're going to watch it. And again, the Clemson, that game would then be nationally recognized. People will start seeing it as it should be anyway.
Yep. Students get the school off. It's a state holiday. Bring back the whole.
That's the next thing I was going to make because people say, well, I don't want to go to Clemson on a Thursday and it messes up my whole weekend. No, you do come to Clemson Thursday because it's going to be a state holiday. So you don't have to work that Friday. So you come to Clemson on Thursday. You go to the restaurant.
Well, you're saying it's 2 state holidays. You get Thursday and Friday off.
You get That's the way it used to be back in the day. It's like a 4-day weekend. So the state.
Hey, I'd sign up for that. 2 days off of work to watch it. Come on.
Let's think outside the box, guys. That's what we can do here. Let's think outside the box. Let's get rid of the stupid Palmetto Bowl name. Let's get it back to being Big Thursday. And then then everybody's happy. ESPN's happy. The ACC's happy. The SEC's happy. And Clemson and South Carolina happy. The people that want the money, to make the money. And I get it. That's what you want to do. The only people that be sad are the people that call it the Palmetto Bowl because nobody want to call it the Palmetto Bowl anymore. Because it wouldn't be. It'd be Big Thursday. Because that's what we love. You look behind me right here. I don't know if you can see it. You see the Big Thursday thing? I don't know if you see it, Alex. There it is. But I got my Big Thursday game program back there. The last one. And it's
I think you need to run for state Congress in Columbia. And you need to go in there with your platform being your first bill is going to be past Big Thursday, so that we can help Ralph out and everybody gets 2 days off of work. So, Ralph, if Will is elected to the state legislature.
Ralph didn't listen to me, did he? I said, Ralph, you get Thursday and Friday off, Ralph.
Everybody doesn't get it off, though. It's still going to be
Look, restaurants will have to work. I get it. Motels will have to work. I understand that, but that's still the case now.
So, Will's going to make it in the state legislature.
Bankers
His bill is going to say the only people who have to go to work are waitresses, waiters, and gas station attendants.
But that's like if you have a normal 9-to-5 job, like at a bank or you work for the state government or something, you're going to have the weekend off. You make it a state holiday and you get the weekend off. That's what we're saying, Ralph. That's what we're saying here. That's
vote
part
for
of
Will
this deal.
Vandervort, independent for the state legislature. What district are you in, Will? Up there in Oconee County. What district?
I mean, I don't know what District 9. I don't know. I think it's
vote for Will for the state legislature. Honestly, Will, at this point, you just run for governor. I'll be lieutenant governor, and we'll strong arm it through. I mean, we'll make sure this gets through the state legislature.
I mean, this is serious stuff here, guys. And I knew somebody like Ralph was going to be like, "No, I got to work." Look, we're going to get you. That's what I'm trying to solve.
Use your vacation day for that Friday.
That's part of the outside of the box. And yeah, Alex, if they can't, use your vacation day. Use a vacation day. That day you were going to take on Friday for Thanksgiving because they were going to put it on stupid Black Friday. Now you can take it in October.
Yeah, come on.
Take it in October. Move it there. Call in sick. Who cares? Most people call in sick for the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, call in sick.
I almost
You know?
called in sick this morning after that 18-inning baseball game last night that I stayed up and watched, and Will didn't, and he's the Dodgers fan.
Yeah,
But
Alex,
I
you
almost
stayed
called in
up
sick this
till
morning.
1 in the morning, though. I would have had to stay up till 3 a.m.
Whatever.
I mean, come on.
Semantics.
What was it, 6 hours and 22 minutes, something like that?
6:39.
6:39. Oh, my God.
The longest game in the history of the World Series, but not more innings than the last game that me and you watched together. That was also 18 innings long.
The Red Sox versus
Red Sox Dodgers, and
Dodgers.
also in LA. And Brad Paisley sang the national anthem at both games, so I don't think they're going to invite him back
Did the
anymore.
Dodgers win that game too?
Yep, Dodgers won that game. Also on a walk-off homer. It was Max Muncy.
But who won the series?
Your Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, and that's what worries me because if I'm not mistaken, that tied the series at 2-2. But then
but this one gave the Dodgers the 2-1 series lead.
It's the Dodgers 2-1 series lead, but it also Dodgers ain't got the best bullpen pitch in the world. I know we're talking baseball here.
We're getting way sidetracked, but this is what happens.
Sidebar.
If you listen to mine and Will's phone conversations, this is about how they go. Make a joke about Will's love life, talk about Clemson-Carolina, get mad at Palmetto Bowl people, and then talk about baseball. This is pretty much how it goes every time.
This is how it goes. But anyway, yeah, so
talk about how difficult it's going to be for Brian Kelly and his family to have $50 million in the bank.
Yeah, don't you feel sorry for Brian Kelly? He's going to be the new head coach at Penn State. Penn State's only going to have to pay him $1 million, and they're going to be able to pay off James Franklin and also only have to pay Brian Kelly $1 million.
So maybe James Franklin goes to LSU and Brian Kelly goes to Penn State, and they could just work out a deal. Like, in baseball, like, it's like, all right, I'll acquire your contract. Like, maybe they can do one of those deals, and the donors don't have to spend any money.
That could be happening.
Yeah, maybe they could throw in like a bag of footballs or something for Brian Kelly, to make it even.
But let's go back on topic real fast. So, Alex, what do you think about my idea to bring back Big Thursday?
I mean, I like the idea of it. I just don't know practically how it would work in with the SEC's new scheduling model.
Well, that's another thing. The conference is going to have to work with you.
I mean, they realistically for this.
The ACC's new scheduling model too, by the way.
Yeah, yep. And the ACC's new you have to work this. I mean, they'd have to be working on this now.
Yeah.
To roll it out in 2 years. They'd have to be working on it now. And obviously, like we mentioned, the contract's already set through 27. So those dates aren't changing unless there's like an act of God. But in 2028, maybe you could get this rolling.
By the way, Alex, Ralph, if Clemson and Carolina want to play it on a Thursday and ESPN says, let's do it, we're going to pay for it. Let's go. Because ESPN dictates it, television dictates everything. They'll play it on Thursday.
Yeah.
If ESPN likes my idea, they'll play it on Thursday.
Well, if anybody in Bristol is watching this podcast, boy, does Will have a deal for you. And all you have to do is cut him in. Will, actually, go ahead and trademark Big Thursday.
Guaranteed.
ESPN can buy it from you for, I don't know, 100,000.
I'm telling you, guaranteed between 6 to 10 million people will watch it. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Hey, I like the idea. I'm for it.
Yeah, because Alex, what do you want to watch? Do you want to watch a NFL game between two meaningless teams generally?
The Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah, the Seahawks and the Rams, or and then 80% of the time, who's going to win. It's going to be the home team because they just both played on Sunday, and there's no way in hell that road team is probably going to win because they're exhausted. They only got 2 days off, and then they had to travel.
Yep, and if it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, just go ahead and if they're ever scheduled for a Thursday, just go ahead and pick the other team. Like, just pick the other team.
Exactly. So the NFL, like nobody's going to. I mean, we kind of know who's going to win that NFL game on Thursday night. It's going to be the home team. So at least the Clemson-Carolina, maybe you get a week off. You schedule, or both teams get the week off, but the week before. So the two conferences work together on that, and they get open dates. And then they're both fresh going in. It's a big game. The state's loving it. Will's loving it because they're playing on Big Thursday again. And I'll be all.
Everybody loves the game so much that Will gets reelected as governor of the great state of South Carolina.
And you can call me Will Vandervort.
In 2 terms,
the great state of South Carolina.
And in 2 terms, they love it so much that they, elect me as the governor.
My family is from Charlestown. Anyway. Hey, if you got comments on this, if you want to tell me how stupid I am, please do. I have no problems you telling me how stupid I am. And you can leave a comment. If you got questions, leave those as well. You can
Yeah, a
toss
lot
Alex
of
has-
people like Jason getting in and saying, they hope the game doesn't move to, Black Friday because it affects high school upper and
Mhm.
lower state championship games.
That's a great point, Jason. Appreciate you getting that point in. That's right. You got state playoff football going on at that time in the state of South Carolina on Friday night. That's going to mess that up with the Black Friday stuff. And so I remember at Bamber, we played our state championship game that senior year was played in, I believe, on Thanksgiving weekend. I believe it was that Friday night after Thanksgiving. I may be wrong. I'm thinking that's right.
Yep.
So he's got a great point there. It's going to affect high school football, and the state of South Carolina loves their high school football. We know that, and so that's something to think about as well. All right, Alex. We also got to talk about this though, because this is something I think it's going to help go in for the rest of the season. The Clemson's offensive line has been horrible. So today, a couple of us, including myself, kind of asked Garrett Riley, who we met for this game. We got to talk to him today to preview the Duke game, but to also ask him a lot of questions about the offense. Talked about the running backs. We talked about everything, the struggles on offense. One of the questions we asked was about that offensive line, and here's Garrett Riley.
Surprised are you at the offensive line's inconsistency just based on what you thought going into the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of been a mixed bag a little bit on a few things up front. Like, we've had some spots where guys have been pretty consistent and played well, and then certainly with some injuries, that's always going to kind of change some things with guys getting dinged up or Elijah Thurman being out or just whatever it may be. So it's just been having to piece it together a little bit from a consistency standpoint, through practice as well, right? Like, you want to get your best guys on the field on game day, and I feel like at times this season it's been a deal where we're trying to get our best linemen ready to go, and they may not be practicing fully until kind of that Wednesday or Thursday later in the week, right? And that stuff adds up, right? It just does. But again, not to make excuses, we got to be better there. And, not just that position group. I don't want to single those guys out. We got to be better everywhere. But, they certainly know the charge moving forward.
Are you surprised with some of the breakdowns they've had this year, especially veteran guys?
Yeah, I mean, anytime that it would be self-inflicted, yeah, I mean, that's going to be frustrating for an older group in general, guys that have played together. But we got to help them too, where we can as coaches on a few things. But in terms of self-inflicted stuff, that's always going to be frustrating, any position.
How about Garrett Riley sporting that trucker's cap right there, Alex? She's
Man,
like,
that thing's pretty nice. I like that hat. That got like the beige there, khaki. I like it.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I actually thought that was nice.
He has
looking hat.
one thing. He might not have the coolest offense in college football or the best offense Clemson's ever seen or anything like that. He does have the coolest hats that we've seen from a Clemson offensive coordinator.
He does. I guess if he wants to, he can drive a truck if his Clemson career comes to an end. That's what he can do. Garrett Riley, though, obviously talking to the media, and part of that problem is the offensive line, Alex. I mean, they have not been good. And I like the fact that he came out there and pretty much said that today. He's like, a lot of positions haven't been good. And that's just not, I don't want to just call it those guys. But he mentioned, like, hey, they haven't been playing up to their standards at all on that offense. They expected more out of that offensive line.
Yeah, them and everybody else. I mean, like we've talked about all season, this is a group that a lot of people, us included, thought was going to be one of the better units in the country. And they haven't even been an upper half unit in the conference. And that's just where you are right now. I mean, some of the stuff he says makes sense. And we've mentioned that this season as well, like injuries stack up. And, when you have to move guys out of the position that they're most comfortable, you're not going to be in sync like you want to. But at the same time, this is a veteran group. This is a group that you expect a lot more from. You expect them to be able to make adjustments. They've been cross-training on the offensive line for their whole college careers, and they just haven't been able to put it together.
They haven't. And, I mean, that game against SMU might have been one of the worst games I've ever seen an offensive line play.
Yeah.
It was really just bad. I mean, they haven't had good games all year. Let's just call it what it is. They haven't. But that was the worst of the worst. It really was. I mean, nobody did anything worth a darn. Guys were falling over guys. Guys were tripping guys. Harris Sewell was falling on the back legs of somebody because he's being thrown to the ground like a rag doll. Can you imagine Matt Luke turning on that film in front of his guys and them watching that film? And just, first of all, Harris Sewell, he had to be embarrassed to watch. How many times did he fall at the feet of his teammates because he's just been tossed to the side like he did? That had to be embarrassing to watch that when you're a major college football player. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, anytime that those film sessions had to be tough because you're just getting openly criticized in front of a large group of people. That's what their film sessions are like right now. It's not like when things are going good, film sessions are awesome. When everybody's pointing at you like, man, look at that pancake block he got there, man. Look at that move. Look at the way they communicated and picked up the switch. But when that's not happening, you're getting the opposite, and it's got to be a tough room to be in.
And I don't want to sing like just Harris Sewell because it's been everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in that offensive line's played.
Blake Miller.
Blake Miller
has problems.
Before he got hurt, Colin Sadler wasn't playing great. Ryan Linthicum, he hasn't been playing great all year. Walker Parks, unfortunately, Dabo talked about today. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
Dabo's like he's 85% at best when he goes out there. But you give the guy credit for trying to play. Trying to think, the freshman, Braden Jacobs, he hasn't played great. He had one good game, but he hasn't played great the whole time he's been out there. He got bum rushed a couple times, in that SMU game. It's like, welcome to major college football, freshman, So now the thing that was, if you're a Clemson fan, that you take out of that game was, despite how bad they played, your quarterback played well.
Yeah.
For the most
and he
part.
he very well might be your quarterback this weekend.
It sounded like.
What would you say on that front, William?
Well, I'll say this. Dabo Swinney was asked a question today. How much did Cade participate in practice on Monday? And he said he did what we asked him to do. Well, that's not asking the question. Answer the question, Dabo.
Yeah, it's like, we asked him to ride the stationary bike. We asked him to walk a lap around the field. That's what it sounds like to me. That doesn't sound like, we asked him to run first team offense. We asked him to run Skelly. That's not what that sounds like to me.
Exactly. When you've been at practice enough to know like what that means, the way he said it, it's like, to me, Alex, personally, I don't think he's going to play. Now, that's not having any insight. That's just me going off of high ankle sprain is usually 3 to 4 weeks for a player. For a high-caliber athlete, usually 3 to 4 weeks. Well, we're on week 3. So that's telling me, like, he's either close to being ready or he's probably just about to be ready.
Right.
And in most cases, it's just about to be. Now,
and if your backup quarterback plays well, which he did against SMU, at least in the second half, then maybe you don't rush him out there. If Christopher Vizina went out there against SMU and threw 5 interceptions and couldn't complete a forward pass and was getting sacked every play because he's a statue, then maybe you rush your quarterback back a little bit. Maybe you're wanting him to play at that close to that 3 if he's able. But, if you want him to be fully healthy and you're confident in your backup, then maybe you give him an extra week to rest it.
That's exactly right. And I think where Cade probably, and again, it's just me speculating. Where I think he's at, he's probably sitting there like probably could play if you need him to, but probably could benefit for another week. And so it's the question of how bad do you need him to play is really what it's going to come down to for Dabo and Clemson this week. But that high ankle sprain, man, the thing that sucks about it, if you go out there and play too early before it's healed and you hurt it again, you're out. He's out probably for the rest of the year.
Right. And you might be having to have a tightrope procedure or something in the offseason.
Exactly.
Look at Tua Tagovailoa. He had this when he was in college, and they did kind of the comeback after 3-week thing, and he was fine for a couple of weeks, and he hurt it again, and he had to have surgery.
Yeah.
We've seen this play out before with quarterbacks.
I'm just like, let it heal all 4 weeks. Go the 4 weeks. Get them as close to 100% as you can. then put them back out there. That's, to me, that's what you try to figure out a way to beat Duke this week with your backup is my thing. Because Christopher Vizzini is going to take most of the reps anyway in practice because
Right.
Cade's not 100%. So he's going to take – you got to get him ready, right? If you're Clemson, you got to get him ready. You got to get Christopher Vizzini ready. So that's already happening. And, I think like you said, Alex, he played well that first game. You go out there and now the bad news is Miami has film. I mean, excuse me, not Miami. Duke has film on him.
Right.
And let's be honest, their head coach is one of the best defensive minds in football, Manny Diaz.
Yep.
And Manny Diaz will have a plan for him, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But speaking of getting into that in a little bit, Dabo Swinney talked about the Duke Blue Devils today in that defense, and here's what Coach Swinney had to say about the Blue Devils.
An opponent coming in here in Duke this weekend, I think one of the best executing offenses in the country, for sure. They really execute at a high level. They play well together, and starts with this quarterback. I mean, he's elite. He is an elite player. I did not know much about him prior to him coming to Duke. Just hadn't seen him very much on tape, but he's a special player. They do a nice job. Again, they're well coordinated and they execute at a very high level. You give them a patch of grass, they take it. They pretty much got an RPO built into about everything they do. They do a nice job of moving him, on different launch points, whether it be in the pocket, sprint outs, boots off of play action. They take, 5, 6, 7 shots a game. So they're an aggressive offense and an aggressive defense. But just very impressed with how they've played this year, coming off a tough loss against Georgia Tech where they turned it over going in on the one and then had another goal line stop on the one. They had to settle for a field goal. So I know they feel like they maybe missed an opportunity there. But this is, again, really good offense. They play well together up front. Receivers are very good players, very good skill, good backs. And, number 18 for them is probably one of the better receivers that I've seen. He's an elite route runner. He's got great ball skills. 7 and 2 outstanding players. Their tight end 85 is a guy that's very crafty, whether it be, setting the edge for his quarterback to get out, or, how they use him in the play action game. So just, again, really good offense, 460-something yards a game. They're 18th in the nation, and they're overall 3rd in passing. I think Mensa is 2nd in the nation in passing. So we got our hands full with this group. We got to play well. We got to execute at a high level. We've got to eliminate the big play bus that we had in our last outing. We really have not done that. That's something that we've got to get back on track. We've got to find a way to take the ball away, win the line of scrimmage, and do a good job out on the perimeter against these guys because they do a nice job of attacking those areas. And then over on the other side, same thing about their offense. Very aggressive defense, 4-down group, downhill linebackers, a lot of man coverage, a lot of tight coverage. They will mix it up, but from an identity standpoint, they're a group that wants to force the issue. So, this will be a team that's coming in here with a really good front. I think 97 and 7 are 2 of the better ends that we've seen. They can get after the passer. 4 inside is one of the bigger twitchy guys that we've played against. I really like this linebacker group. They got an All-American at corner in Rivers. He's an excellent player. And just a well-coached group. So aggressive all across the board, all 3 phases, and a team that will have to execute at a high level.
Sorry, that's Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. Me at that time, that was my fault. I turned my mic
Hey,
off.
I've got us on there smooth.
Yeah,
I
you
got
did.
us up there smooth. I set you up.
Yeah, that was me. That was on me. I was clearing my throat. So,
And unlike Vlad Guerrero Jr. did off Shohei Ohtani right now, you did not hit it out of the park. 2-1 Blue Jays.
Dodgers didn't need that. So but they need him to go, Ohtani to go all 9 innings tonight. That's the only way they're going to not. You're going to win this series in Los Angeles. Anyway, that was Dabo Swinney, Clemson head coach, as he, talked about the Duke offense, the Duke defense, and Alex, we're going to preview the Blue Devils here in this game, and I'm going to be honest with you, Alex. I don't have a good feeling about it for Clemson at all.
Me either. Well, they're playing at home, which is you can almost automatically chalk that up as an L these days for the Tigers against Power 4 opponents.
Are they going to lose their 4th game at home this year? Alex, do you want to know the last time Clemson lost 4 games at home in a season was?
1998.
That's correct.
So it hasn't happened since I have been breathing.
And guess what their record was that year, Alex, in 1998?
It was not very good.
3-8.
I didn't really want to talk about 1998 on the show today, but that's the point of that's where we are right now.
That's where and it's unfortunate that's where they are because we shouldn't be here. This team shouldn't be here at all. But they're facing a chance where they could, and they got a really good chance to lose this game this week in Death Valley. Yeah. And it would still be 1970-71 when they lost 6 straight. They would match those 2 teams in losing 6 straight games against power conference opponents. And then that's just crazy. And those 1970-71 Clemson teams were not very good, obviously. They were horrible, 2 of the worst teams in Clemson history. And and now you're talking about 1998, also matching that, one of the worst teams in Clemson history, one of the worst team in the modern era of Clemson history. Yeah. And
the last Clemson football team to not be eligible for a bowl game.
That's right, the last one. And you could lose to Duke for the first time in Death Valley since 1980. Yes, 1980. Alex, what were you doing in 1980?
My father was 10, so I don't think I was doing too much. 9. My father was 9 during the football season. So
yeah, he was 9, sliding down the hill on the carpet on the cardboard over there on the west end zone side. As was I. I was 8. The last time Clemson lost to Duke on homecoming. Lost to Duke, period, in Death Valley. But that was also on homecoming, which is what this week is.
Which most times that Duke has come to Clemson's Memorial Stadium. It's been homecoming.
It has been. But the difference in all those teams before is that this Duke team's really good.
This is a damn good Duke team.
This is a really good Duke team.
Kind of just looking by the numbers at this Duke team.
Go ahead.
They're number 7 in scoring offense in the conference, or number 2 in the number 7 in the conference in scoring offense. Number 3 in the conference in total offense. Number 9 in rushing offense. Number 1 in passing, and number 1 in passing efficiency. Their quarterback is number 1 in passing. Their quarterback is number 1 in completion percentage. Number 1 in yards. Darian Mensah, man, this is one of the best quarterbacks in the country that's coming in Death Valley. Their defense doesn't have great numbers, but they're kind of a havoc unit. They get after you in the pocket. They force negative plays. And like you mentioned, they're well coached. So against a backup quarterback, potentially, you don't have a lot of confidence against Manny Diaz.
And Mensah, as you mentioned, number 2 in the country in passing.
Yep.
He's averaging 315 yards a game. He's completing 70% of his passes. He has 17 touchdowns to 2 interceptions.
2,211 passing yards. And there's a lot of season left.
Yeah, and
this is a guy that should legitimately be a Heisman candidate, but we have just completely ruined that award. This Darian Mensah is the quarterback. I saw somebody tweeted this week. I don't remember who it was. I'd give him credit, but he's the quarterback that people think Diego Pavia is.
Correct. That's great.
He is the quarterback that people think Diego Pavia is. This guy's a game changer. He's dynamic. He can make all the throws, can make all the big plays. Against Clemson's defense, Clemson's pass defense, that is more than a tall task.
Yeah. And Alex, could he be Clemson's quarterback next year? Who knows? You might be watching your Clemson.
Well, you know how much Duke's paying him this year? I don't know if Clemson can pony up.
They're paying him $2 million. They're paying him $2 million this year and $2 million next year, supposedly. But as we know in college football, you can get out of any deal you want to.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
if Clemson wants to pay him a little bit more, Clemson can for one season. Because I know how much Clemson paid Clay Klubnik, and it's so I think he can make that. Clemson can pay him that, and so
Somebody else is going to come with a bigger bag. I can tell
I
you
think
that
somebody
much.
is going. Somebody he won't be at Duke next year. Somebody else is coming with a bigger bag. Whether it be Miami, probably going to be Miami. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Miami's probably already contacted him. I mean, let's be honest. Let's call that what it is too.
Yeah.
I know. I'm accusing Miami of tampering. Yes, I don't care.
Allegedly.
Allegedly accusing Miami of tampering.
We didn't run that by our legal team before the show, so we're going to throw that allegedly in. But I mean, this is an offense. I mean, when you think about Manny Diaz football teams, you don't think about prolific offenses and defenses that kind of hold their own. You think more of like a dynamic defense and offense that holds their own. But this is a flip script for him. This is a different kind of team than he normally has had as a head coach, and that makes him really dangerous coming into Clemson's Memorial Stadium.
He is, and then they also have some dangerous running backs in Anderson Castle and Nate Shepherd.
Yeah,
those guys can bulldoze you over. And I mean, if you've watched Duke play at any point this year, which I've watched a lot of them, I mean, those guys are very dynamic running backs that they both kind of do different things. And Shepherd, he's one of the best in the ACC, in my opinion. And you're going to see a lot of number 20. You'll see a lot, especially if Clemson can't stop the run. I mean, hopefully, like you said, TJ Parker's got over the wedding day stuff, and maybe he's going to be better at stopping the run than he has been the last few weeks. Then at wide receiver, they got Quishon Brown, Shamir Hagans, two outstanding guys, and then Cooper Bearcat. I think that's how you say it, Bearcat.
Yeah,
Bearcat, one of the two. They got a tight end and Jeremiah Hazley, and the tight ends kill Clemson, as we all know. And so they got weapons on offense, man. And they got a very good offensive line.
And they got one of the best players in the country on defense, too.
They do.
And Vincent Anthony Jr. He's leading the conference in sacks and TFLs, 10.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks.
And what happened the last time Clemson faced a team that's really good at sacking the quarterback?
They sacked the quarterback
4 times.
So, I mean, this is let's call it what it is. Well, this is a bad matchup for Clemson.
It's bad on both sides of the ball.
Bad matchup for Clemson.
Yeah. Bad on. But by the way, the other defensive end, Wesley Williams, Dabo pointed him out. Pretty good, too.
Yep.
Pretty good, too.
Unless Clemson had like a revival in the bye week. They played pretty well off the last bye week, but they played 2 bad football teams.
One thing you can always count on with the Manny Diaz team is they're really good at linebacker. Dabo talked about that today, led by Luke Meggett. They're the middle linebacker there, number 34. You're going to see him all over the field, guys everywhere. I mean, and then of course they got an All-American and Kamir Robinson. They're an All-American corner. I mean, Alex.
Clemson's down its best receiver.
And everybody's like, well, Will, they're 4-3. Why are you making a big deal about them? They're 4-3, but they easily could be 5-1, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, they lost a game that they had no business losing at Tulane.
Correct.
Earlier in the year. They had everything that could have possibly went wrong against Illinois. That game was 45-19, but it realistically was like a 1-score game. It's just everything that could go wrong went wrong.
And then the same thing with Georgia Tech.
Yep, same exact thing.
Where Georgia Tech, it was like watching a replay of the Clemson-Duke game from 2 years ago.
Yep.
That's what it was like, you know what I'm saying? By the way, Clemson hasn't lost to Duke back-to-back times since 1966 or 1966. I had the stat earlier, and I have to find that stat. It's like been a long time since they've lost back-to-back games to Duke. You got to go back to the 60s since that's happened. So that's about to happen. All kinds of history.
So when was the last time when – this would be one that you really need to look up. When's the last time that in a calendar year Clemson beat Duke in basketball and Duke beat Clemson in football?
I think that's you need to send the bat signal out for Tim Bray. Tim Bray,
he's already probably bookmarked that one for the weekend.
I bet you he has. That's a Tim Bray stat for sure. And you're right. He already has it ready to roll. But yeah, I mean, let me see if I can find that stat, Alex. Sorry, I didn't mean to put my finger up on the camera there. The beauty of doing this podcast live, right? This is what it is. But I'm trying to see some stuff here. I remember I had this marked, and so I got to find it. It's driving me crazy. So let's see. Yeah. The last time Clemson lost consecutive games to Duke was 1969 and 1970. How about that?
Whew. That's something right there.
1969, 1970, the last time Clemson lost back-to-back games to Duke. And now the last time Clemson started 3-5 in a season, I guess would have been 1998.
Wow.
Because 2008 was the last time they started 3-4. And then I don't know if any Tommy Bowden teams started. No, they didn't. I don't think they had a losing record at this point in the season. Any of Bowden's teams. Trying to think the 2004 team. They started 1-4. That's right. They went on that run, and they got to 5-4, then lost to Duke. Remember?
Yep.
Lost to Duke, and then finished 6-5 and beat the Gamecocks, and that was the brawl. Coincidentally, the last time Clemson missed a bowl game.
Yeah.
So Alex, I don't know if this is one. I guess this is one of our pick six, so I guess we'll talk about it some more in a minute. So with that said, let's get to our pick six.
We don't have to do that this week. We can do it
because you gotta give an update on your record.
We don't have to. I mean, like I said, we don't have to do that this week. We can just skip to next week. We can do it next week.
Because if I'm not mistaken,
I call Ashby and have her do my picks this week, and that might. I got you. This week we're kind of doing a celebrity picker. I'm going to pick your games, and Ashby's going to pick my games.
No, we're not going to do that. Let me see, Alex. So if I'm not mistaken, were you 23 going into last week? You were 23-25. Is that right?
No, I was 24-24.
24-24. Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes you after your just tell everybody how well you did.
All right. So this past week, Will went 5-1, and I went 2-4. And
what'd you do?
I went 2-4.
2-4. That's right. 2-4.
2-4. In our pick six, Will with his wins has moved up to 33-21 on the season.
Yep.
As 12 games above 500 if anybody's counting. And I have moved down to 26-28 on the year. Yep.
What was that again, Alex? Say that again.
26-28. I'm having some mic problems. I don't know. My voice keeps cutting out. I'm 26-28.
Just I know everybody saw me falling out of the screen stuff again.
26.
This has been a comical error.
Sorry, technical difficulties here on the program.
Anyway, Alex said 26.
Yeah, my record is 26. Oh, sorry, I cut out. I don't know what happened to the video. I'm trying to tell you, I'm 26.
26-28 is what he's saying. 26-28. I am 33-21. There's no problems with my mic as I continue to build my lead on young Alex over there. And, Alex, isn't it good that I always call you young Alex forever? Because you're always going to be younger than me.
I'm going to be 70 years old, and Will's going to be older.
I'm going to be dead by then.
I hope not, buddy. I hope you live a long and prosperous life.
I appreciate that, buddy. I hope you do too. So anyway,
just to remind people that I do know football, my NFL picks year. NFL picks this year, I'm 66-53. Picking every game against the spread, I'm 66-53. I just want to throw that out there, and it's because I missed 2 Thursday games because I don't pay attention.
Well, with that said, let's go ahead. What you got for the pick six?
All right, here's our pick six. It is presented by FanDuel, as is our show. That's where all the odds come from. That's where you should go place a bet if you're into that kind of thing. We're going to start out with number 9, Vanderbilt. Can't believe I'm saying that. And can't believe they've been in our pick'em for like 7 weeks in a row.
It's like crazy.
At number 20, Texas. Texas is a 2.5-point favorite. They keep snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, and they are a 2.5-point favorite at DKR.
That crazy 2.5-point line, right? It's just, You hate it, don't you? I hate it. I really do. But here's the thing, Alex. Reality is going to come up on Vandy this week. First of all, you had game day there, big win. You didn't play your best. Missouri lost its starting quarterback. Was probably Missouri's about to beat you. Alex is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah, they lost their backup quarterback. Missouri lost their starting quarterback like week
Earlier.
1.
Yes.
And they lost their second straight quarter. They were playing a third string quarterback and
Yeah.
still had a chance. I mean, they had the ball with a chance to tie.
Yeah.
With a minute to go.
It was sad nonetheless.
Yeah.
What happened to their quarterback situation. But Vandy's going on the road at Texas, who might be playing with their backup quarterback too, because we don't know if Arch is going to play or not. And that could be a big deal. But I just think, though, going on the road, playing at Texas, I've been in that environment. That is a wonderful environment. That's a wonderful college football environment Texas is. And so I'm going to say, give me the Longhorns minus the 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same thing here. Obviously, I wouldn't put any money on this unless you can buy a point. Like if you could buy it up to 3.5,
then you might, yes.
Then maybe you play it. But I'm not playing it at 2.5, but I'm going to take Texas.
But he's going to play it here because he wants Will to have to play it.
Yeah. The next game, we're going to the Atlantic Coast Conference here. Number
ACC
10,
football.
Number 10, Miami. They will not be wearing the worst uniforms in college football history this week like they did last week.
Ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, I thought they were going to be like the actual color of fatigues, but instead they were like puke green.
Miami is one of the premier programs in the history of college football.
And you've got them wearing diarrhea splattered jerseys.
What are we doing? It's Miami. It's the U. They don't need to wear crap like that. Oregon has to because that's how Oregon made itself special, was that. Right. Other teams like South Carolina and Maryland that do that stuff, that's because they're South Carolina and Maryland. When you're one of the premier programs in the history of college football, you don't do that. You don't wear all black uniforms. It's all green uniforms. What are you doing, Miami?
Yeah.
That's why you can't win the national championship and stuff. That's why you play the way you do at times, because you do stuff like that where you bring yourself down to the level of pitiful programs.
Yep.
That do stuff like that have to do that because they got to get people to watch and buy their uniforms and stuff. Whereas if you're just one of the traditionalist programs like you are, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, keep going, Ohio State for the most part, that they, for Michigan, the most part, all the time, 90% of the time are wearing their traditional uniforms. Right. Even though Michigan needs to get rid of that maize pants. I mean the blue pants. I hate the blue pants.
Wear the maize pants.
Don't wear the maize pants. Michigan needs to go back to its maize pants. But Miami at where?
Miami is at SMU.
First time all year they've gone out of the state of Florida.
Yep, and Miami is an 11.5-point favorite against the SMU team that had a major hangover after beating Clemson.
That and also they had some injuries on defense.
And
their quarterback is not 100%.
My dumb self gave everybody every reason to pick Wake Forest with the points in the game. It chose SMU. And that's the one I'm really kicking myself about from last week, that I laid out the whole thing and did the not so fast, my friend, try to be cute instead of just going with my gut and picking Wake Forest. But anyway, I'm going with my gut in this game this week. I'm picking SMU with the points. That's a huge spread. I think SMU is going to get right. I don't think they're going to win the football game. Miami's going to win the football game, but 11.5 is too big of a spread for a team that hasn't traveled out of the state of Florida this year.
My only concern is Kevin Jennings. How healthy is he?
No.
And Miami still has the best defensive player in college football.
Yeah.
So Alex is taking SMU. I'm sitting here wondering because that is a big number.
Yeah.
For your first time going on the road.
And there's going to be 0 Miami fans in the stands except for the parents, and it's going to be a packed house.
I don't know. Miami travels well because their fans actually have more fans on the road than they do at home. They're loved because, remember when they came to Death Valley and there's always a good contingency when they travel. Now, there will be more SMU fans, but yes. But, man, I'm kind of torn because that number is high. Like if that was 8.
Yeah, if it was like 7.5, I'm taking Miami.
Yeah, I can see Miami winning by 10 even without Kevin Jennings being there. I'm with you. I'm gonna go SMU in this one as well.
Dang it! I should have picked second because you would have picked Miami. All right, to the next
No, I
game.
wouldn't have because that number's high.
Yeah. To the next game, another high number. Number 16, Louisville, is an 11.5-point favorite at Virginia Tech.
11.5 at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, I think, is done for the season. I mean, they just
So does
really
Vegas. So does Vegas.
it's just, yeah. I mean, that game last week, they played well, but then they Virginia Teched it, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with it's a high number, but I'm gonna go with the Cardinals because I think the Cardinals they're rolling right now. They're feeling good about themselves. They didn't play great last week, but they still found a way to win in that game last week at home. I think they go on the road against a Virginia Tech team that I think if you get on top of, they'll beat you. Now, granted, this is an old Big East game, but give me Louisville. Gosh, that line is high. Give me Louisville, though, to cover that 11.5. I think they will.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Louisville minus the 11.5 for all of the above stated reasons. Next game on our pick'em. South Carolina at number 7, Ole Miss. And the Rebels, they are running, and they're a 12.5-point favorite. Coming off a huge win at Oklahoma. And then Lane Kiffin took a shot at the Tigers in the postgame, incidentally. Did you see that? The Clemson Tigers.
What did he say?
Brent Venables said in his postgame presser that Oklahoma was the better team. And Lane Kiffin said, well, was Oklahoma the better team last year when we beat them, or was Clemson the better team when we beat them in the national championship when I was at Alabama?
Did he beat Clemson in the national championship though?
Yeah, that first year.
Then the 16 he got 16 he got dismissed.
Yeah, in 2015 he
beat Clemson.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess he's taking credit for the special teams call to do the onside kick there. I mean, he does get credit for using that tight end as much as he did.
Well, he does, and he also gets credit for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, a pain in my side.
Yeah, but Ole Miss is a 12.5-point favorite at home, coming off a big win. A chance to move into the top 5.
Yeah, I think South Carolina's done. I do. I think South Carolina's done. I think Ole Miss, like you said, they're rolling, feeling good about themselves. I think if there is going to be a Lane Kiffin moment, this is the one.
Yep.
Right, because this is who teams they lose to, South Carolina.
But they already kind of had their scare and they weathered it. Like they should have lost to Wazoo and they won. Yeah. Trinidad is the man. I mean, that dude is a beast at quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm with you. I think South Carolina losing the heartbreaker that they did to Alabama. They're going to kind of be bummed out. Ole Miss coming off the big win, coming back home, feeling good about themselves. They know they're in prime position to play in the college football playoffs, maybe getting the SEC championship game too. So, yeah, I think Ole Miss keeps it rolling. Give me Ole Miss plus the 12.5.
Yeah, I'm going with Ole Miss on the points too.
I mean, minus 12.5.
Yeah, I'm going Ole Miss with the points. I think Shane Beamer's probably like reaching out to people in Blacksburg, like, hey, are you still interested? Like, I know that I beat you guys and I really hurt your feelings, but, I still love you. That kind of situation going on.
Love you.
If he's smart, that's what he'd do. So I think he can win there, especially if they're going to invest in football. But I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
Okay. All right, what have you got next?
All right, the next one is our first ranked on ranked matchup, or second ranked on ranked matchup in the pick'em this week. It is Oklahoma coming off that loss at number 14, Tennessee. Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite. Bit of a revenge game here for Oklahoma. I think there's probably not as much love lost with Josh Heupel anymore after last year. Their fans are going to be jacked up. But Rocky Top looking pretty good too. They're a 3.5-point favorite. Tennessee is.
Yeah, I know it was a difficult loss for Oklahoma last week. But one thing we still know about Oklahoma, they can still score points. And they did shut out after falling behind. They did go and shut out Ole Miss for like almost over 2 quarters.
Yep.
and stopped them and kept getting the ball back to offense and came back from 12 points down and had the lead going into the fourth quarter before they gave up the lead there. Tennessee is good on offense, but who have they played? We know Oklahoma's defense is good no matter who they play. They're going to get enough stops. I know it's on the road. As long as Oklahoma doesn't turn the ball over and give Tennessee extra possessions, that 3.5 is kind of a crazy line. I'm going to go with Oklahoma in this one.
Yeah, me too. For all the aforementioned reasons. I mean, look at Tennessee the last time they played a big game. They got
Their defense isn't very good.
Yeah, because their defense isn't very good, and I think that Brent Venables can handle Joey Aguilar.
I think so too.
So I've got Oklahoma straight up.
Yep.
And then the final game of our pick'em, the one that we were most excited about, I say that 100% sarcastically, Duke at Clemson, Clemson's Memorial Stadium that used to have a really cool nickname that we don't use anymore. Clemson is somehow still a Vegas darling because Vegas has made so much money off of the Tigers this year. Clemson is a 3.5-point favorite at home against the Blue Devils.
Are they picking this just because it's Clemson-Duke and Clemson should be favored to win?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they think Clemson's going to do the thing it does when it plays teams from North Carolina that are good. Maybe that's what they think is going to happen.
I mean, they do beat teams from North Carolina. That's something that always stays true. If there's anything that stays true is that term.
Yeah.
Is that statement, I mean. If Cade Klubnik's playing, then I'm okay with the 3.5-point line. I think Clemson could win it in the shootout if Cade Klubnik's playing. But I don't know if Cade Klubnik's playing, Alex.
Yep.
And I don't feel good about it. We just talked about all the things before about that team, about Duke. And Clemson's a horrible matchup offensively and defensively. Dabo said it today. The reason they don't run the football for very much, they still run it for a decent amount, but the reason they don't run it for tons of yards is because their quarterback's throwing it for 315 yards a game. And they don't have to run it. But when they do have to run it, they run it well. So he's like, you put on the tape, you watch them, and they play. They're a good football team. The only chance Clemson's got, and this is where Duke messes up, is Duke shoots himself in the foot from time to time.
Yep.
And I think that's Clemson's only hope, that Duke shoots themselves in the foot and Clemson gets some turnovers, and Duke maybe goes for it on fourth down inside their own field position, and they don't get it. But I think Manny Diaz is hungry to beat Dabo Swinney in Clemson. I think he's ready to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and say Duke's going to cover this 3.5.
Yeah, me too. For all of the aforementioned reasons. Now, I do think Clemson's offense will move the ball on Duke. Now, I think Duke's going to have like some drive-killing sacks and stuff like that. But Clemson can move the ball on them. I mean, it's sitting like a juggernaut defensive unit. They're 12th in the ACC in scoring defense. They're 12th in the ACC in total defense. They're 11th in the ACC in running rush defense. They're 12th in the ACC in pass defense. So I think Clemson's going to move the ball. But I think Clemson's going to give up sacks like they always do. Clemson's not going to be able to run the ball like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke is going to move the ball at will.
Not at me, but at Clemson.
Yeah. At their own will. Like however much they will to run the ball, they will do it that much. But I got Duke with the points in the game. I think Clemson can win the football game. I thought Clemson could win the football game against SMU. And they did.
But we still picked SMU.
Yeah, we still picked SMU. And I've been pretty good at picking Clemson games since I figured out they're not very good. So I'm gonna ride with my gut on that one.
I'm 5-2 against the pick against Clemson.
Hey, however well you do this week, buddy, I'm going to do that well too. I'm picking Duke.
Alex says, you know what? If I can't beat them, join them. Alex, so to go over our picks, me and Alex both have Texas -2.5 hosting Vandy. Me and Alex both picked SMU hosting Miami +11.5. Me and Alex both picked Louisville at Virginia Tech -11.5. Me and Alex both picked Ole Miss hosting South Carolina -12.5. Me and Alex both picked Oklahoma +3.5 at Tennessee. And me and Alex both picked Duke +3.5 at Clemson. So there we go.
We've
There's
also
our picks.
both violated every rule that we have when it comes to sports betting. So take
We
that with a
did
grain
twice.
of salt.
We did twice.
We picked
But-
double-digit spreads twice.
Yep.
We picked against home teams that are favored by less than 6 twice. And, yeah, that's just what we're doing this week. This is what we're doing.
But it's Tennessee's defense and it's Clemson all together. So
Yeah.
it's just like that's why we went with those picks. So Alex, fun show. It was crazy because we had technical difficulties and user errors everywhere. But you know what? We got through it.
I will say I was not responsible for very many of those as the producer.
I wasn't responsible for the first one because that's on our I won't say who it is, who we use.
It's on our provider here.
That's on our
It's
provider. But the second one I was definitely for, and then the times where I was like falling off my chair and all that stuff, that's all on me. So you know, great show nonetheless, buddy. We had fun. I hope you guys had fun out there. Appreciate you joining us. For Alex Dodd, I'm Will Vandervort. We'll talk to you next time on Believe in Clemson, presented by FanDuel.